Welcome everyone to episode 8 of the Circle Back podcast, the show where basically two friends get together, talk about video games. I'm Dan LaMarca, and as always, I'm joined by Dan
Hello
Dufrenoy.
again.
And we're going to kick it off like we always do. Dan, what have you been playing?
Nothing new. Nothing really new's come out lately, but I've been on like a nostalgia kick, and on my Wii U like a while ago, I downloaded like all these old NES games and SNES games, and I've just been playing through them, one by one. I've been playing, Super Ghost and Ghouls and Double Dragon and Punch Out, and games like that, and I've just been, enjoying it.
That's fun, man.
Yeah, good
That's
stuff,
great.
man. Seriously.
Punch-Out is absolutely one of the best NES games.
It's so good.
And that game holds up.
So good. It really does. And it's still a lot of fun, and it's challenging,
It
too.
holds up like few games on the NES hold up. Like
Definitely,
Mario, Zelda, Mega Man, Castlevania,
Oh, man.
Punch-Out. Like
I
that's
love
the
it.
short list.
I absolutely love it. And one game I want to bring up, and I want to kind of pat myself on the back. For no good reason, I'm amazing at this game.
What game?
Wario's Woods.
Oh, yeah?
Wario's Woods, for some reason, I am not trying to toot my own horn, and I don't know why I'm good at it, but for some reason, like, I was playing it for like way too long, and I was just like, I just want to like play another game, but like I'm gonna wait till I die.
Right.
Like I couldn't die.
Wario's Woods is like the stacking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
It's like Tetris kind of, or like puzzle.
And you got like Wario's in the corner, and you got like fruit coming down, and you're Toad, and you got to like stack like certain fruit.
That's one of my sister's favorite games of all time. She's
was it really?
obsessed with that game.
I gotta talk to you about it. That's so funny. Yeah. For some reason, I'm really, really good at that game. I can't die if I wanted to.
Well, good for you, Dan.
Yeah. Apparently, that's
You're a pro.
my calling. Yeah, I know.
You should go into esports for Wario's Woods.
Wario's Woods. Yeah, I'll be a champ. But yeah, so I'm just playing a lot of old games. And I've been loving it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice to dip back into those
Well, that's the
games
thing. I think this is the time to do it because we're talking about games that upcoming. It's not really until February that any games kind of catch our interest. So this is the time to kind of go back, replay old games, or try out games that you missed and stuff like that. So that's what I've been doing. I've been having a lot of fun.
I like it.
Man.
I've been doing a similar thing. I've been playing some of the same games. I beat Divinity: Original Sin.
Oh, dude, what'd you think?
So, 71 hours.
Oh my God.
71
What'd you
hours.
think? What were your thoughts about it finished? Yeah, worth it?
Absolutely love it, yeah.
Worth
that
every
game
hour?
I recommend to anybody that likes RPGs. It's very, very good, yeah.
Did it hold up all the way through?
Yeah, I loved it the entire time. Again, the main plot line, not great, but the combat is engaging enough. Some of the side stories are really good. That game is incredible. I think that, I don't know if that's just like me, if it's like that style of combat and the way that the skills are laid out is like so engaging to me that I don't even care what kind of game is around it. Like all those games, the way that they're designed is just so much fun for
That's
me.
awesome, dude.
Yeah. So glad to finally beat that so I can move on. I've also been playing more PUBG.
Okay.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Got another chicken dinner.
Oh, right on, bro.
Got a duo chicken dinner, me and
Nice.
Spencer. That game continues to be like
It's still just better and better.
so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's not getting stale at all by any.
Absolutely not.
Wow.
Not even close to getting stale.
Okay.
Because every single match, the circle is in a different spot. The flight path is in a different spot. The way that the items are spread out are in different spots. You know what I mean? So it feels very different each time,
Awesome.
even though you're dropping on the same map.
That's cool.
Yeah, a lot of fun with PUBG. Another game that I've been playing, which is an interesting, I don't even know if you can really call it a game necessarily. It's called Universal Paperclips.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I think I showed you a little bit of this.
Yeah.
It's basically like a clicker. If you've seen a clicker, either on your computer or on your phone, where it's like you click to make the numbers go up, and then you get some stuff that auto clicks for you, and then you get other stuff. So Universal Paperclips is like a clicker, but it's kind of like a burn on capitalism at the same time, because you're what it does is it keeps adding, like so you click to make a paperclip, right? It'll be like, click this button to make a paperclip. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, you have 10 clips. Do you want to get one auto clipper for 10 clips? All right, cool. Get an auto clipper, then it clips 1 clip per second, right? So you're going up, you're getting more auto clippers, you're getting to do more, but then it starts adding in all these different things, because you're kind of like building a corporation from the ground up, right?
Okay.
Like you start out, you're clipping them by hand, and then you start moving your way up. But what happens is it starts adding in different like elements to your page, and it'll be like at a certain point you get a stock market app on your page, and it's like you can take the money you're making from selling paper clips, and the whole time I forgot to mention, as you're making the clips, you're raising and lowering like the price of your paper clips, depending on the public demand. So it's like.
And now, are you actually controlling any of this, or this is just like happening?
So you're controlling, like you're clicking to raise or lower the price, and you're clicking to make paper clips, and you're clicking to buy auto clippers and stuff like that. But the public demand is increased when you get marketing. Like it's a whole. It really is like they're obviously like trying to show us how fucking terrible like corporations
how messed
are.
Up it is.
But it really goes from. Like the first thing that happens is it'll pop up and it'll say marketing. You need $200 to get level 1 marketing, right? So you work to get $200, and then the public demand goes up. So you want to either get more clippers or raise your prices because public demand is higher, and so you're getting more money per second. It's like revenue per second. There's a ticker that says revenue per second, and then what happens is you get the stock market. And you're basically feeding your money into the stock market, but you're also leveling up your stock market app. So like you're kind of like messing with the market intentionally, and there are things that you get as it goes on. Like it'll be like, oh, you need $25 million, and you can get the cure for cancer.
Wow.
And it's like when you cure cancer, it says global stock market on the rise. So like you're kind of like tampering with the stock market.
Oh my God.
So you're putting all your money into the stock market when cancer gets cured, making money off of it, and then taking it out.
Whoa.
So it's like, it's insane. But
that's wild.
The cool thing is, basically, the final thing that you get are these. They're called, I think they're called hypno-drones.
Okay.
And the subtext on it says, I think it says like automated brand ambassadors or something. So it's like basically you're buying these drones that are flying around and telling people to buy your paper clips, like they're hypnotizing people.
And it's just you're showing me the page. It's just that one page.
It's a free browser game. It's one page. It's really interesting and cool. It's a big ask to say like, hey, do 2 hours of this.
Yeah.
To see the cool stuff. Like it's a big ask. I get it, but it's really interesting and it does cool stuff. When you do the hypno drones, basically the screen starts like glitching out and looking all weird, and then it skips. And all of a sudden it just says, here are the unused paper clips, no paper clips being manufactured. So like, what's up with that? And then you start building factories, paperclip factories that build like a bunch. And so like the number starts going like shooting up across the whole thing. And it's pretty cool. You're getting automated drones to, like you're getting a drone army to make paper clips. You're getting a drone army to grab wire and make paper clips out of them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Now how did you hear about this game?
I just, how do I hear about any games? I hear about games.
Yeah. Believe me, I hear about games.
No, I'm not saying that, but it's a really interesting, cool idea. I like it a lot.
Cool.
It's worth checking out.
Yeah.
It's at least just sink some time into it to see some of the different options. And like, it starts out because you have basically once you get a certain number of like paper clips and stuff like that, different options start opening up, and it'll like be like, all right, you have processors that are building operations per second, right? So your operations are going up. When your operations pool is full, say you can get a max of 10,000 operations. When that's full and you're not using it, then you're building creativity.
Okay.
And you can use creativity, like one of them is like automatic limerick maker or something, and you buy that and it'll pop up like a little like...
That's so crazy.
Yeah, automatically generated poem or something.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really funny.
That's cool.
It has a good sense of humor, but it's also like, you can tell it's actually trying to tell you something.
Yeah,
you know what I
like
mean?
a message, yeah.
It's really good though. I like Universal Paperclips a lot.
That's cool, very cool.
Yeah. Have you been playing anything other than the older games?
Well, my sister just got for Christmas, she just got, I don't know if you ever played any of the Fire Emblem games. My sister loves the Fire Emblem games. She loves Awakenings and Conquest and Birthright.
I love Fire Emblem games
yeah.
too.
So she got Fire Emblem Warriors that came out like late last year, I believe. And what's cool about it is I played the Dynasty Warrior games and also played Hyrule Warriors. But this one is actually like, I don't know if you've played it, but it actually plays like a Fire Emblem game in a way where like it's very strategic. Where you got,
is it turn-based or it's real time?
It's real time, but what you do is you get to choose like 5 characters. And if you play the Dynasty Warrior games, Dynasty Warriors are kind of just thrown, and a world and there's a bunch of bases and you just kind of go hack and slash and just
it's like
conquer all the
mindless.
bases.
It's like a very mindless
Exactly.
killing game. Yeah.
But this game, what's interesting is you pick like 5 characters from the Fire Emblem series. You know, Marth to Kron to you can just kind of go all over the place, and you can command someone, say, hey, I need you to go fight over here. I need you to go do this over here. You can switch between characters, so it has more of like a strategic kind of.
That sounds pretty cool.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about the Dynasty Warrior games, and Hyrule Warriors was a lot of cool. Was a lot of cool. Hyrule Warriors was very cool.
Very articulate.
Because very very articulate. It was cool because you get to play all these characters and stuff like that, but it kind of loses it after a while. This at least, it's got some sort of.
Yeah.
It keeps to the roots of Fire Emblem.
That sounds
sort
nice.
of keeps
I
it.
think unless that series makes like a drastic change or something, I don't think I can play them because they're just.
Well, I wouldn't say it's worth the $60.
Yeah.
To get it,
but it's a fun little.
What I like about it is that it definitely does keep to. My sister loves about it, so much is that it keeps to the Fire Emblem roots. It's still that sort of, okay, well, I got to kind of plan out, my move. Whereas, most of the Dynasty Warrior games, if not all of them, are just kind of slash, 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 slash. This is more, deliberate, which is kind of like how the Fire Emblem games play, where you got to kind of just, oh, well, okay, if I move my guy here and I lose this much health, well, is that a good move? It's very
cool,
strategic. So
right. That sounds interesting. A nice little twist on that tired old franchise.
Yeah, no, definitely,
cool.
Definitely, dude. Yeah.
Another game that I've been playing and obsessively playing is Opus Magnum.
Okay.
I think I told you a little bit about this game. It's a new game by Zachtronics, which if you guys know who that developer is, they basically make these kind of games, like very fucking hard puzzle games that are like make you feel like a genius when you finally figure it out. But this game, Opus Magnum, is basically it's a grid of hexes, right? Hexes 6.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Hexagon.
It's a grid of hexes, and basically the point of the game is you have these singular atoms or molecules, really, and you're trying to get a final product, right? So the way that you do that is you have to create an automated, basically robotic, almost like a Rube Goldberg style, like, arm grabs this, passes it to this, pass it to the product spot, boom, you're done, okay? So you start with a blank grid of hexes and you place everything on the board. So there's like a bunch of different ways to solve each puzzle. But to give you an example, it'll be like, all right, here's one molecule of water and one molecule of salt. You have to put them in a bonder, which is like this two thing. Get them to go in the bonder, bond, and then put them in the product slot, right? So to do that, you're placing them in different spots, having arms grab them, move them up together into the bonder, slide them over into the product, right? So you're creating these automated machines that can build the things themselves. But what you're doing with the arms is, this is super complicated and convoluted, and I'm sorry if it doesn't make any sense, but it's a hard game to explain. What you're actually doing is there's a track at the bottom that almost looks like a musician's
like garage band kind of
thing. On the bottom it's like a track line, and each action takes up one little brick. So an example of an action is you can grab. Mm-hmm. So if you're the arm, right, you're looking at arm 1. It has to grab this molecule. You task grab, rotate 60 degrees. Like the rotations are all 60 degrees increments. So it would be rotate 60 degrees clockwise, release, right? Like that's an example of grab a molecule, rotate 60 degrees, release, okay? And then you have another arm that you're putting, once that releases on the track line, you're grabbing with arm 2 right there, rotating 60 degrees, releasing, you know what I mean? But where it gets complicated is you have to, a lot of times you're creating molecules that aren't what they start out as. So like there's you might have a molecule of water or something, and you have to have it pass over this, like basically there's a spot on the board where you can put a spot on the board that makes any molecule into salt. Okay. So you're then having this salter, and you're having the water here the arm has to bring it across the salter, and then it becomes salt, and then you can grab it as salt and create it.
Can you make it as difficult as you want or as easy as you want? Like
you can, but the problem is it's like a new way of thinking because it's like you're actually like programming these.
It's like machines, kind of.
Yeah, you're programming this whole system
like an assembly,
and lining it up properly. So what you're doing basically is, of course you can make it as easy or as hard as you want, but when you say as easy as you want, it's never fucking easy.
I mean, could you be like, all right, well, I need to get this from point A to point B. I'm just going to have one arm go boop, boop.
Yes. But your ultimate end is never that simple. It's never, all right, get this one to here. Because, like I said, it comes out blank. So if you wanted to get this here, you could just put them right next to each other. But what it is you're putting them over bonding spots to make them bond, and they have to bond on a certain angle because when you grab something, say something is 2 molecules wide, right?
Okay.
If you grab it here and rotate it, now the orientation is off. So the slot that it's going into is a specific orientation.
Okay, so there is a little bit more than just getting it from point A to point B.
So there's a rotate task, and there's also a pivot task. Because you can, instead of actually moving the arm, you can just turn the thing.
Okay.
So it's a lot of like, you're like figuring out the best ways to get them in there. It's really
interesting.
I love this game. I'm like hooked on it, but oh my god, it's like breaking my brain some of these times. Because what'll happen is they're always throwing new things in. Every mission, it's like, all right, you knew about bonding now. Hey, here's a bond where there's one molecule in the middle and one on each, like three attached. Like, oh, good luck, have fun with that. And then you spend hours like trying to figure out how
awesome.
It's so good.
That's cool.
If you have any interest in any puzzle games, like
that's the
this,
one. Yeah,
I am
but you
like,
played them before. It's an interesting concept. It really is.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good. I love this game.
Is there like an end to the game? Is there like a
there's actually a story in it. It basically in between those sections, there's like a visual novel style dialogue. You don't choose any options, but it's like character portraits that don't move. They're just like nicely drawn.
Cool.
And then you'll see dialogue underneath, and there's
cool.
like a whole story that goes on. It's like this cool like city where you're an alchemist and you're like there's different houses and stuff. It's actually interesting. I actually like the story too, but yeah, I'm there for the puzzle.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, cool, man. Awesome,
Man,
very cool.
What a game! I highly recommend.
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah. So, if that's it on what we played, I'm just gonna pivot into what we're gonna do for the bulk of this episode, which is. We're basically doing the best franchises in video game history, right? So
it's a lot of games.
We have some parameters. The franchise has to have 4 or more games. That's our rule, okay? This is totally an arbitrary thing that we're just making up.
Yeah.
But what we basically did was we made a list of every franchise that has 4 or more games that we can think of that are important.
Right, it's still a little nervous that maybe we missed one.
But it's that are good, like we just talked about Fire Emblem Warriors. Dynasty Warriors is not on this list.
Right.
We have a long-ass list of games that are on here, and our goal is get it down to 10 franchises out of this whole list. We're paring it down, and then pick a number 1.
And it's got to be consistently good.
Yeah,
so
what I didn't mention is, exactly. I'll give you an example. Resident Evil is on here, right? Now, Resident Evil 4 is an incredible game. I like Resident Evil 1 a lot as well. 5 is okay. 6 is not good. 7 is good. So
it's kind of like average.
So what we're saying is we're getting the 10 best overall franchises, in our opinion, obviously. But if we think that one of those games is too much of a detriment and it brings the average of the games down,
the game is so bad,
then we're cutting it out. Whether or not we say, hey, Resident Evil 4 is one of my top 10 games of all time, so this has got to be on the list.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works. So we're basically saying, here are the best franchises in video game. We're giving you 10. So we're just going to start out. There's some heavy hitters on here that are obviously going to make it. Mario and Zelda.
Yeah, those probably.
They're going to make it. We may as well just say that right now because we'll talk about them when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
So these are all the long-running franchises in video games that we're gonna basically work through. So I'm gonna read them all really quick, and then we're just gonna start cutting. We have Mario franchise, Zelda, Metroid, Castlevania, Mega Man, Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid, Mass Effect, Grand Theft Auto, Burnout, Assassin's Creed, Uncharted, Resident Evil, Kirby, Gears of War, Call of Duty, God of War, Ratchet and Clank, Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, Guitar Hero, Rock Band, Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Halo, Sonic, Elder Scrolls, Far Cry, Fallout, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tomb Raider, Tekken, Spyro, Doom, Rayman, the Souls franchise, we're calling it, Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Yakuza, Persona, and Civilization.
Yeah, we might have missed something along the line.
We certainly missed plenty, but that's a shitload of games. So we have more than enough.
We definitely, I'm sure we've missed plenty.
We're going to go kind of ruckshot here and just start cutting games because, there's some that I don't think are going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Jak and Daxter is going to make it. I like Jak and Daxter. The games are kind of uneven.
I'm sorry, Shelby.
Yeah, Shelby loves Jak and Daxter, but this is a lot of games. So Jak and Daxter, I like those games. I like the first one a lot because it's more of like a platformer, and then they kind of opened up, which I wasn't a huge fan of. But I think along that same vein, Sly Cooper is not going to hang.
Sly
here.
Cooper's so much fun. The original.
Love Sly Cooper.
Oh man.
Actually, I like the most recent one too. Sly 4 is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I love me some Sly Cooper, but
yeah,
that's
good
okay.
games,
But
not
I understand when you're talking about the top.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Call of Duty. I think we probably have similar feelings about Call of Duty.
Yeah, our personal taste here, a lot of people like Call of Duty quite a bit. I would say there are some that I really, really like. I like the original Modern Warfare a lot.
Yeah.
I like Black Ops a lot. Across the board as games, doesn't hang here.
Yeah.
So that one's gone. Let's see, what else we got? Assassin's Creed, we have a sordid history on. Definitely not making it here. I would be.
And to be fair, I've only played Black Flag, so I don't want to say the entire series.
We're talking about top 10 of all time video game franchises. If that is on this list,
we're not friends anymore.
Is
it?
Also, one that we're going to probably take off, Civilization. I like the Civilization games a lot. I think I played a lot of 4 and 5, and I hear 6 is actually really good. But, they're kind of iterations on the same theme.
Compared to...
I don't think they hang with any of this, personally.
What are your thoughts on...
Do you see any others on here that you're looking to get rid of right away?
Get rid of? Let me look. I mean, Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem is a really good series.
Oh, my voice just cracked.
Are you all right?
Went through puberty a second time. Yeah, I think so. The first time didn't go so well, so we're going to do it. Thank you.
We're going to have a party.
Fire Emblem. I'm sorry, Noelle. I know she loves those games.
I love those
so
games
much.
too, man. When we're talking about strategy games, like I am all in on those kind of games, and I love Fire Emblem. Awakening is so good. So good.
I feel like I just betrayed my sister.
Listen, we're talking top 10 here, Dan.
Okay.
That's not gonna make it. Sonic, absolutely not making it.
No, but let me just give a shout out to Sonic. I know you hate Sonic. The first 2 Sonic games, I adored. Those were awesome.
Listen. My thing with Sonic, when I was a kid, I liked them a lot. No denying it. I had a Genesis. They were excellent. Loved them. You try to play those games now, they are terrible.
Oh,
those games
man.
suck.
Sonic 1's still so good, though.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. But I gotta say, Sonic 06 and Sonic Boom were bad enough that we could take it off.
We're also talking about
as a scope,
the whole thing. So many of these games
as a track record.
Sonic has had 2 games that people consider good, maybe 3.
It's kind of like bands that like stay longer, like the Rolling Stones or like U2.
Hey, listen,
you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you're about to use that as an example, but we're talking about Mario and Zelda here. They've been around longer than any of these, and they stayed good.
That's true. You're right.
I know what you're saying, and for a lot of these, I think you're right, but yeah, listen, it's not going to work for all of them.
That's true.
All right, let's take a look here. I adore the Burnout series.
I've actually never played a Burnout game.
Oh, man, those games are so good.
Yeah.
My favorite racing series by far, because they're not really that much racing, they're more crashing. But they're really, really fun. I think Burnout Paradise is one of the most underrated games in history, but that's not going to hang here.
What do you think about Grand Theft Auto?
Grand Theft Auto, I think, would make a lot of people's lists. I don't think it makes our list.
No.
I think I have had a lot of fun with the Grand Theft Auto games. When back in the day, Grand Theft Auto 3 on PS2, played
Vice City?
a lot. Vice City is after that.
Gotcha. I love Vice City.
I love Vice City too.
Yeah, good times.
These games were good. They were fun, but for me, they always were missing a little something. Like they were telling like back then, it was like, all right, look at this crazy sandbox you can play in. But then they started getting a little more like, hey, we actually are trying to tell a story. And Vice City was cool, but they never really stuck with me as far as a narrative in the way that other Rockstar games like Red Dead have.
Well, that's just so funny, like why we love Red Dead so much, and like Grand Theft Auto just kind of falls to the wayside.
I like Grand Theft Auto. I'm not saying I don't like them. I just think they're supremely overrated. They're super well made, so I understand why, if you look at like the best reviewed games of all time, they're going to be on there because they're very well made.
Yeah.
They're just not for me, I feel like. I don't like that tone and style as much as, it just, for me personally, I'm not with it.
Oh, no, I'm same. All
right, so we're cutting that out. We're going to talk about Rayman here. I used to like the old games. They don't hold up very well. The newer games, the newer Rayman
Origins
games,
is
Origins
really
and
good.
Legends.
And Legends is really, really good, both of them.
They're incredible. I love that style of 2D.
The best is I love the, I forget if it's Origins or Legends, where like you're playing to like music kind of thing. It's kind of like Thumper in a way, where like you're running and you gotta like hit.
Yeah, I think that's Legends. Yeah.
Okay, where you gotta like hit the button
awesome.
like as like the music like comes in as the jumps come in. You're like
those games are so good.
They really are good. And
so
hey,
good.
Shout out to Rayman 2 for the N64. I remember getting that game at Blockbuster, and I played the crap out of that game.
I played a ton of that game too.
The
game's not a good game.
I mean, maybe. I mean, that was like 5-year-old me.
We're gonna talk another episode about bad games that we loved. And we're gonna learn a lot because I'm gonna assign homework. We're gonna go back and play some of these old games.
Oh man, dude,
not like you remember them.
That's so sad.
All right, looking through. You see anything else here, Dan? Right now that you want to get rid of?
All right, well, so I love Tomb Raider. I love the new games. I think the new games are so good. I really, really do.
Yeah, they are. They are so good.
Like they're just absolutely fantastic. The newest one.
I would also say even the newer games are not gonna make top 10.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. And the old games are terrible. Like, terrible. I know people like those games.
I know.
And they were interesting for that time.
Like, Tomb Raider is such a classic franchise.
So bad, man. You try to play those games now, I'm telling you.
But,
absolutely terrible.
like I said, I absolutely love the new ones. The new ones were so good.
That's not going to hang.
But,
also not going to hang, Spyro.
No, Spyro's classic,
Spyro,
though, too.
I love back in the day.
Yeah.
Another game doesn't hold up great, but a lot of fun back in the day.
Definitely.
I really like the Spyro games. What else we got here? I think Gears of War. I think Gears of War is a good franchise overall. I know you haven't had much experience with it.
Just multiplayer.
But I played through every single one. I loved playing Gears of War multiplayer for 2. I think these games are great.
They are, and multiplayer is fantastic. It's a lot of fun.
When we stack them up against some of these guys that are going to be on here, I don't think they hang.
Yeah.
I think God of War, same thing goes for that.
Yeah, I was never crazy about the God of War
I liked them a lot when I was younger. Kratos is a little one note, to tell a real story with. So
the new one looks really good. I'm excited to see what they do with him there.
You can see that they obviously know that, and they're trying for a little something deeper. So I'm excited to see what they do with the next one, but I think God of War is not going to hang over here. Let's look. We can talk about Kirby.
All right. Kirby's great.
Kirby is great.
Kirby's great.
I've had a lot of fun playing Kirby games. The old Kirby games, I think it was either the first one on the NES or the second one on Super Nintendo that I played, is one of like my favorite games to play.
Superstar? Or
I'm talking
All-Star?
about Superstar.
Yeah,
Superstar
yeah.
Saga, yeah. Kirby Superstar, right?
Kirby Superstar, yeah. I think Superstar Saga is Mario
Superstar
Luigi.
Saga is that,
yeah.
Kirby Superstar is the one where you get to play like
7 different levels.
Yeah.
that's such a good game. That game is
really good.
Actually, that's one of the games I have on the Wii U that I downloaded.
That game is a lot
so
of fun.
good. Like the one where you could do like you're the samurai and you gotta like time it right.
Yes.
Just like
and they have a freaking like, don't they have like a golf on there?
They have like everything, and they have
That's
like several different like actual platforming levels. Yeah. Like it really is.
There's some of those games are just mini games, but some are like full games.
Full games, exactly.
I like that
so
game a
good.
lot. Kirby as a whole,
Kirby's Adventure is a great game for the NES.
yes.
That's a lot of fun.
And I actually like the N64 one.
Oh,
Was
man.
it Dreamland?
I haven't played that. Well, I know the Dreamland games were for the Game Boy.
I'm thinking of there was an N64 game that's a side scroll, like normal ass Kirby game where you get different powers from different guys. And
man.
I remember playing that a lot. But I think overall Kirby's been very samey for a long time. And
we love you, Kirby.
And he's not I don't think that's gonna hang.
No, it's not gonna hang. But I definitely shout out to
Shout out for sure.
my boy.
Your boy Kirby.
What do you think about Halo? I know that's a little controversial because I know Halo would probably be in most people's top 10 franchises.
Halo might hang on this one. I'm gonna hold off on counting that one. We'll revisit it as we get close.
All right,
but I'm gonna leave that one for now. I think there's a lot more
we can take out
chaff. All right. Let's just go ahead and get rid of the Yakuza series.
Oh no, you love those.
I don't love them all. That's the problem.
Okay.
As
an
oldest
aggregate
the
score?
oldest ones are. I mean, like I said, for some of these others, even the best of these are not going to hang on this list.
Yeah.
Yakuza 0 and Kiwami are amazing and great. They're not going to hang with this. Look at this freaking list. They're not going to hang. So we're cutting Yakuza. Okay. I think they're great games, but.
What do you think about Persona? I
think Persona again. I mean. When we're talking about Persona 4, we're talking about one of my favorite games of all time.
Persona 5 was fantastic.
5 was great as well, but I know 3 is very beloved as well. I played a little bit of 3. I didn't play the full thing. I played it on PSP when it came out as a re-release. I liked it, but it was a little weird for me at the time. I don't have any experience with 1 or 2. I don't think they are nearly as revered as the 3, 4, and 5, but I think it can go.
Well, another game that, in the same sort of vein, where is it? Fallout. And the one that kind of stands out for me, I was so excited for Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And Fallout 4 was a really, really good game. I know a lot of people really, really liked it, but there was just something about Fallout 4 that I couldn't.
Me too, man.
I couldn't.
I hate it too because I
sink my teeth into
Fallout 3 in New Vegas. I adore both of those games. I think they're amazing. I loved them at the time. I don't know if it was me and my taste changed when 4 came out because I can see that it's a great game, or if it was just missing something. I don't know because there was something for me and you about Fallout 4 that was kind of.
I can't even pinpoint it. I don't know.
That's why I'm saying it might be me just being
I don't know if it was the settlements where you had to constantly, oh God, they're out of electricity or all that. You got to keep going back and forth.
That was annoying, but that was kind of on the periphery.
But
you
even
didn't need to focus too much on that.
Stories, I don't know. There's just something that just didn't.
I will say there was something about Fallout 3 when I first played that game with all the side stories and all the detail and all these there were these crazy moments. Do you remember that VR mission inside Fallout 3? There was some place where you sat in a chair and put this thing on. And you were this clown with a knife in this black and white town. It was really crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, but shit like that where it's there's there's this random oasis in the desert with green lush grass and big trees, and you're like, what is this? Discovering that kind of stuff. Was so interesting to me in Fallout 3, and it's hard for me to say that Fallout 4 definitely didn't have that stuff in it, but either it didn't have it, or it wasn't as impactful as it was when I saw it in Fallout 3.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily, but I think you're right. I think Fallout goes. I do like those old Infinity Engine style games.
No, I know you
Fallout
definitely recommend those, yeah.
But that's not going to hang with this. I think we're going to do this at the same time.
Yeah, all these fighting games.
We're going to get these three fighting games: Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Tekken. We're not big fighting game guys.
What was your favorite out of the three? I'd be curious to know.
Street Fighter 2 is probably the best.
Street Fighter, Street Fighter my favorite. Which two? There's 18 different versions of Street Fighter.
Yeah, you're right. There is. I think
there's Turbo. Yeah, Turbo was the SNES, right?
Yeah. My thing is, these are all excellent fighting game series.
Right. They're kind of.
We're not necessarily fighting game guys, so I don't know enough. I could play them here and there against people that also can play them a little bit, but if I played anybody that knew what they were doing, we would have no chance. That's kind of how fighting games work. So we're going to cull that whole group. I also really like the Tekken series, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah, I remember playing Tekken 2 on PlayStation.
Oh, we
a
also
lot.
didn't put like Soul Calibur on there, but Soul Calibur would be in the same vein.
Be
like
in the
that
same
sort of,
boat.
like,
Yeah. I played it. I played, what was the one for GameCube with Link?
Oh, that was two. That's Soul Calibur too. With,
Played that one a
Link
lot.
and Keelik, and I know she loves those games. Sorry, she gets so excited with it.
I love your like non sequiturs. They're good. All right. We're getting down to it.
Now let's talk about Guitar Hero and Rock Band.
Okay.
What do you think?
We can talk about that. I have I'm sure you do too. It's not like a unique thing to me.
Yeah,
They're
everybody
very popular
has
games,
great
but
memories.
Guitar Hero specifically, I remember playing Guitar Hero 1 and 2 at Steve Noko's house obsessively. I had no idea what it was. He had it, and I was playing. We would play like together and stuff, and go back and forth. And we were like, I remember specifically trying to beat Guitar Hero 2 and just passing back, like playing single player, trying to beat him, like actually go through the songs. And man, those games are
they're fantastic.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just remember, all the guitar. I mean, really, there are a lot of fun. Guitar Hero World Tour, Guitar Hero 3. I mean,
I'm saying
these are the games you play at parties, and they were a lot of fun.
But the truth of it is, if you're comparing Guitar Hero and Rock Band has such a lasting legacy where it's like, we still play that at parties.
Yeah.
Like, I think Rock Band is going to stay for now, but I think Guitar Hero is going to go. I think Guitar Hero is awesome, and like I said, I have great memories with Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
But Rock Band as like a...
Well, that's the perfect party game, honestly.
It's just so good. So let's count how many we're down to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 19.
All right. Well, I'm going to actually... This may be a little crazy as well. I don't know how much you love the new Doom, and I love the original Doom. Yeah. But I feel like in between, just kind of.
Yeah.
If we're talking about aggregate scores, right. Just kind of
2 and 3.
If we're talking about like aggregate scores, obviously the first Doom changed.
And Doom 64
the landscape.
is doo doo. I say we get rid of it. You're right. I absolutely love the newest Doom.
Yeah.
What was it, 2016?
Yeah, I think so.
Doom 2016 is so good and so underrated. It's one of the best single-player first-person shooters. Like, actual gameplay. Way up there for me.
But...
Yeah, as a whole series,
series.
Too uneven to hang, so it's gone. I also... This one... Ratchet and Clank...
Poor Shelby.
I know. These are Shelby's boys, Ratchet and Clank. But I think we all know they're not going to hang. I think the core series, like, what was it, Up Your Arsenal and like...
Going Commando, is that part
Going Commando. There's a group series of games that are all really good. And the last one was it A Crack in Time?
The last main.
Yeah.
Well, there was a couple of Crack in Time, right? There was like the pirate one.
Well, those ones are like the side stories.
Right.
I think
Quest for Booty, I think it was called.
Yeah. I think A Crack in Time
and
the original trilogy and this new one that came out on PS4 are all excellent. That's like the remake of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
That game is so good. I think that whole series is great, but there are enough offshoots that are not great that I think it's also, it's hard to hang on this list. Ratchet, I love you, but you're gone. Jeez, we're getting into it, huh?
Yeah, we're getting into the thick of it.
I'm going to take down my baby, Far Cry. Far Cry 2, I've said it a million times, one of my favorite games ever. 3, excellent as well. Started to taper it off a little bit to the point where I'm literally not excited for 5.
Yeah.
So I think that in and of itself is telling enough that we're going to take it out. All right.
Thoughts on... All right, well, now that we're in the thick of it, I guess we can talk about the big cheeses. Yeah. All right, some of Resident Evil.
Yeah, Resident Evil, we use it as an example in the beginning because Resident Evil 4...
Obviously, is a game that
is incredible.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah, one of the best games ever made. I think the original is awesome. I love it. I have very good feelings about that game. And I think 7 is way up there.
Do you like 2 or Nemesis? Do you like those?
I like them, not as much as these. But when we're talking about Resident Evil, we're talking about 6 also. And 6 is one of the worst games I've ever played. And I played the entire thing. And
So you
it was
think
terrible.
so? Like the badness of 6 outweighs
It's not
all the good.
if it was just 6, then I would say maybe not.
But 5 wasn't that solid.
5 wasn't great. It was way too actiony. It was fun. It was a fun co-op game, but it wasn't a Resident Evil game.
It wasn't as yeah.
It really wasn't. It didn't feel like a Resident Evil game. And I think a lot of the side offshoots are real bad in that series. So with that, all things considered, I think Resident Evil is going to go.
Because that's a big franchise we're taking off, my friend.
That is, yes.
That's a big franchise.
I think another one that's going to go is Crash Bandicoot.
I know. I love Crash. I feel like
Crash is great.
for PlayStation, we're just kind of knocking them off the...
Still got some in there.
I mean, that's true. But I love Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot series is so good. Second one in particular.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, really, you go through the different doors. And you gotta,
love those games. They just put out the Insane Trilogy last year.
So good.
Really fun. If you guys like Crash Bandicoot and you miss them, go play the Insane Trilogy. But it's not going to hang. Okay.
All right. Well, there's something that we kind of touched upon earlier today, and I'm actually this is going to be a really interesting conversation.
I know where you're headed.
Yeah?
Go ahead.
Final Fantasy? Is that what you thought I was going to talk about? Okay.
No, I didn't. But
what did you think I was going to say? We're going to talk about that too. Oh, okay.
Final Fantasy, yeah. Say your pitch because.
Okay. Final Fantasy, right? 6 for me.
The pinnacle, yeah.
Might be. I mean, it's very hard to say, but objectively, for me at least.
I love objectively.
Well, that's so weird because I'm saying like objectively. But for me, at least, that's that doesn't make any sense. I was like, oxymoron.
One of the best games.
I think it's one of the best video games ever.
Yeah.
Like, just as a mechanic-wise, story-wise, graphic-wise, music-wise. I mean, it's just got everything that you could ask for in a video game. And that game is just so good. 7, everybody loves. I think 7 is also very, very good. I think the first 10 hours of that game is just on par, like just with Final Fantasy VI, but it kind of tails off when it gets into that sort of like angsty, kind of spoiler alert.
But the combat system in 7 is really fun. And
no, definitely. But I think
there's a lot of good in 7.
Story-wise,
I shit talk 7 a lot, but there's a lot of good in 7. But yeah, the story.
I think first 10 hours is awesome. When talk about corporations, when you're like this, wow, you're in this world and like it's just these like shady people like running this world, and then. And then,
it's
like,
interesting,
after 10 hours, you just get into this whole, Cloud's just angry, and
that's the beginning of the end for Final Fantasy for me.
And then everything else.
But I will say, 9 particularly, I love Final Fantasy.
Which one was 9?
It was more cartoony. It was on PS2.
Was that the one where you could play as the Black Mage?
Yeah, you could.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 9 is very good. I like 9 a lot. 10, I think, is very overrated. I think it has good parts to it. I'm not a huge fan of it. I know a lot of people really like 10. I think 1 is very good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the original ones, yeah.
Those early ones are really good, too. So there's really good ones, and then there's really bad ones. And I fucking hate all the new ones.
All the ones in the teens.
I hate them.
Some
people like them. 13, that Saga 13.
With Lightning, right?
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate those games.
I played...
and 15, I could not get into. It's not a terrible game, but it's not a Final Fantasy.
I got 15 as a Christmas present, and it's so... Because it's so... It's kind of like... It's so well done. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto, right? It's so well done. Like, the graphics are beautiful, and there's just so much to do.
Yeah.
But there's nothing calling me back to it. So I'd say, as a whole, the Final Fantasy series. What's so weird is if anybody mentions Final Fantasy, my first thought is 6 and even 7.
Yeah, but we are talking as a whole.
I know.
So.
And I'm just like, oh no, you guys got to play these games. They're amazing. But
I think they got to go, Dan.
Yeah, that's rough.
All right, what do we got?
That's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
13?
13? Is that it? Am I right? 1, Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Castlevania, Mega Man, Metal Gear, Mass Effect, Uncharted, Rock Band, Pokemon, Halo, Elder Scrolls, Souls. 13.
13. Okay. Right. This is.
We can get rid of 3. We can get rid of 3.
Oh
no.
What? Well, okay. Which is one that you thought that I was going to talk about?
Mass Effect.
All right. Let's get into this.
But my problem is, all right, so Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect trilogy, I would say is some of my favorite stuff ever in video games.
What about 3, though?
I love 3.
Yeah, I feel 3 tails off the way that Final Fantasy 7 tails off.
It has some of that, but it's solid enough throughout.
Okay.
And I feel, a lot of people didn't like the ending. I feel that as a contained trilogy, yes, 3's the weakest of the bunch, no doubt about it. And there are things in 3 that I don't like very much. But as a trilogy, that is a really, really good trilogy.
Oh, 100%. Listen.
And
it's one of my favorite games ever.
The original Mass Effect is one of my favorite games ever. 2 is right up there. 3 does fall off, but it's a very good game. Like, there's no denying that it's still very good.
What does Andromeda do to the equation?
Andromeda is terrible. God awful. So,
What does it do to the equation?
I know, it brings it down, but man, the average is still way up
there.
We're not talking about...
more than these other games. Like, now we're getting to the thick of it.
I know. I'm looking.
I think I like Mass Effect more than Rock Band.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Rock Band's going to go first. Rock Band is a great series, and it's...
I wonder if we don't give I'm sorry, I just cut you off.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I wonder if we don't give Rock Band enough credit, because I feel like probably... On the way... This is going to sound like super like pretentious probably, but like I don't... Like, obviously it's a video game, but like I don't... When I think of like games... Mm-hmm. I think I always think of more like I always think of the vein of like single player like story like like
yeah,
I never
I always take it into consideration when we talk about we've had little discussions of like game of the generation kind of stuff, and we're gonna do an episode on that at some point. I think Rock Band has a good
talking about
a good shot at that because it is a revolutionary game, and it is a lot of freaking fun.
Oh,
man.
100%.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. I think with this group, we're talking about best franchises in video game history. I don't think Rock Band hangs because when we talk specifically about franchises, it doesn't do much.
Right.
This topic specifically is very much geared towards story.
Yeah, and like games that have kind of pushed the boundaries. And obviously Rock Band did push the boundaries, but
but in a different way. Yeah, in a different way. So I think Rock Band's good to get off there. Now, when we're talking about this stuff here, I'm going to say something that's not great, but I got to say it. The Mega Man series Mega Man 2, easily one of my favorite games of all time. A lot of those early Mega Mans I adore. I love 3. I think 5 is the other one I really enjoy. There's one other one in there that I really like. But as a whole series, and I like 9 and 10 a lot, but I don't like the X games very much.
No. Mega Man, the first one. Do you like the first one?
I like the first one. It's not great when you go back. There's a lot of issues with it. 2 improves hugely. But there's some 3D Mega Mans that are really bad. Yeah. There's some real junk in that series.
Oh, I have such a hard time not imagining Mega Man on a top 10 list of franchises.
But when we're talking about it as a whole, Dan, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's like, that game has...
You didn't like 4, or...
Yeah.
I feel like the first 6 Mega
like
Man...
them.
Again, this is probably more nostalgia-wise more than anything.
No, those games are all good. I'm not denying that. And I would say 2 is one of the best games of all time, but... When we get into the higher ends, when we're talking about 7, 8, we're talking about the X games, which people like. I don't like those games. When we're talking about freaking, what is it, Battle Mega Man? It's like Battle something. There's some 3D like arena thing with Mega Man.
Oh, is the soccer one?
The soccer game's pretty good, I'll be honest with you. Mega Man Soccer is no joke. But I think there's enough junk that it might have to go.
All right.
I'm just looking, and I'm... I can't poke holes in a lot of these games, and Mega Man I can.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay,
I hate to see it go, but
I also another franchise that actually I'd hate to see go, but I'm also feeling towards it is actually Metroid. First Metroid, Super Metroid, and Prime are all fantastic, fantastic games. I feel like the Prime games kind of fell off.
Yeah, they did.
And other M.
Real bad.
Yeah.
Real bad.
So we're talking about games that we're trying to poke holes in, and all these other games are just so perfect.
Yeah. Shit.
That's tough.
Now here's the other thing.
Because Mega Man and Samus are 2 of my favorite characters.
But here's the other thing. What about Castlevania 64 and Lords of Shadow?
True, but you think Castlevania, the first three, fantastic. People crap on 2. 2's great. Dracula's Curse is amazing. Super Castlevania 4 is amazing. You got Bloodlines for the Sega Genesis.
Rondo of Blood.
You got Rondo of Blood. You got Symphony of the Night, right? And you got all the games for the Game Boy. Circle of the Moon. You got Harmony of
Those
Dissonance.
are all really good, yeah.
You got Aria of Sorrow, which is fantastic.
I think you're right. There's too
Dawn
much
of
good. Too
Dawn
much
of
good to
Sorrow,
take that out.
Order of Ecclesia. And the Lords of Shadow games weren't bad. They were just, they did God of War with Castlevania style. The first Lords of Shadow I didn't think was bad at all. I mean, I don't think it was great by any means, but I don't think it was bad. And then the second one was okay.
All right.
That one kind of
made your
tailed
case.
off.
I think you're right. What do you think about Pokemon?
See, I think Pokemon's consistently great.
I think you're right, but it's because they don't change anything.
Yeah, I know. Pokemon's just a great franchise, though.
And yeah, Pokemon Snap's pretty dope.
Pokemon Snap's
I'll
great.
be honest with you, Pokemon Snap's
This is
pretty
gonna
dope.
be crazy. Everybody hates this game, but Pokemon Channel's awesome.
God awful.
Hey You Pikachu. You know, I mean, we got some
Oh God.
Pokemon Stadium.
Stadium's not good either.
Really?
But
But it seems pretty good.
it's not bad.
That was fun.
I think you're right. I think Pokemon's gotta stay.
But maybe Pokemon didn't change, but when you think of like the main games from like Blue and then Sapphire, all the
Right.
Pokemon's just been consistently what it is, and it's been fun every
Yeah,
time.
I can't deny that. You're right. Pokemon's gotta hang. What do you think about Elder Scrolls? I know you're a giant Skyrim fan. But do you
Skyrim
think
was amazing.
across the board? We're talking about a bunch of games here.
That's tough. Skyrim I love to death. I went back. My issue was I played Skyrim first, and then I played Oblivion. Like
Yeah, you can't do them in that order.
I should have played
Yeah.
Oblivion first and then Skyrim, but obviously I didn't know
I
any
did
better
Morrowind,
at that
Oblivion, Skyrim.
time. Okay, so it just progressively got better. For me,
For me though, the weird thing is I played Morrowind, loved it,
Okay.
blown away by it. Played Oblivion, even better. I was like, wow, this is insane. Played Skyrim, and I liked it a lot, and I played so much of it.
spent
But
more hours
it
of my life
had
on
that
Skyrim.
Fallout 4 thing for me.
Oh, no kidding.
Where I had Oblivion had those moments for me, and Skyrim didn't. And
wow.
I don't know if it's just diminishing returns because they're so similar, or
That's so funny that you say that, because for me,
Yeah.
Skyrim, there were certain quests where it just out of nowhere, you're just like, what am I doing?
see, there's stuff like that, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But Oblivion had that stuff, and it was, for me, it blew me away.
So would you say that's detracts from the Elder Scrolls series? Would you take it off the list then because of that?
I might take it off the list. Plus, we don't have any history with one or
Never played
two,
one or two. So I guess for that reason.
and yeah,
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, I think it's got to go. Honestly, dude.
All right.
All right, Daniel, we have our 10 games.
We have 10?
I believe we do. Let's count them out. Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Castlevania, Metal Gear Solid, Mass Effect, Uncharted, Pokemon, Halo, and Souls games.
Okay.
That's a good list.
That's a
10
great list. Yeah,
franchises.
that's a great
Holy
list.
shit.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so I want to talk them out before we get into it too much.
Okay.
Souls games as a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls, one of my favorite games of all
Oh, of
time.
course.
Like way up there. Like sometimes my favorite game of all
Right,
time.
yeah.
Like I love it that
I know
much.
there's always like rotation of top 3.
Yeah, but I think they're consistently great. That's why they're on this list, because
Even 2 and 3? You think
Yes.
2 and 3 hold up?
absolutely
Just as well as the first one.
they're not as good as the first one. No way. But you could say that about Mega Man. Mega Man 2 is the best, and the rest are good.
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
so it's like Dark Souls is way up here, and then Demon Souls and 2 and 3 are like just below it, but they're so great. There's not a bad game or even a mediocre game in the bunch. Not even a good game. They're all great games. Dark Souls 1 just happens to be like way up there,
Yeah.
amazing. So I'm gonna say I said my piece about it. It's not gonna be number 1, obviously.
Okay.
But I wanna explain why it belongs on here. I'll talk about the Halo games as well. We didn't really touch much on them, but the stories have never been a huge draw for me in Halo. A lot of people really like them, but I had a lot of fun playing co-op campaigns.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't care about the story, because they're a lot of fun. That's leaving off the fact that we played a ton of split screen. You know, we've talked about this when we talked about first person shooters.
Yeah.
But playing split screen on the original Halo, awesome moment. Halo 2 playing with all your friends online, hooking up Ethernet cables to each other's Xbox. We used to do one team of 4 in my room, one team of 4 downstairs, hook up an Ethernet, play against each other. Like, those memories are way up there.
What would you say after Halo 2?
No, I say 3 is way up there too.
Yeah?
I played so much Halo 3. Even ODST and
Halo Reach?
Reach. All those games I played online a ton because Halo is like my brand of online shooter, you know? Like I would play a little bit of Call of Duty here and there, but it's like these Halo games I would always go back to and be like, these are my online games.
Yeah.
And I love them. So I think they definitely earn their right on this list. I think 4 and 5 are starting a downward slope.
Yeah.
But they're not bad games.
No, I think they're the best of the shooter franchises that have the criteria.
What I'm saying specifically is like when we were talking about like Mega Man made this. Mega Man was on this list, and we were looking, and it was like some of these are so not good.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Halo, even the worst of them are good.
Still good games.
You know what I mean? Like that's.
Or as opposed to like Resident Evil, where it's like, well, some bad
Yeah,
ones are just
exactly,
so bad.
exactly.
Okay. Okay.
So we'll talk. I just want to go through each of them, just kind of say our piece, and then we're going to try to duke it out to see what's going to make it up top. We talked a little bit about Metroid before. It ended up cracking the list.
Yeah, it did.
But I think you were right in saying Prime 2 and 3 and Other M are not great.
No.
Prime 2 and 3 are okay. Other M is capital B bad.
Yeah, definitely. But the first Prime and Super Metroid are two of the greatest games
are incredible
ever.
And I actually like the original Metroid a lot.
Me too. Yeah.
I like that game a lot. Metroid 2 I didn't care for until I played AM2R.
That's the Return of Samus?
Yeah. Did you play AM2R?
No.
It's like the fan remake of it.
Oh, good.
And it's really good.
Yeah.
Way back. They fixed a lot of stuff in that game that was shitty. So I think that definitely hangs on this list. I'm glad it's on here. Castlevania we talked about.
Castlevania 64 is a terrible game.
Terrible game.
But the original slide-scrolling platformers...
And the Symphony of the Night.
Fantastic. And all the Metroidvania games. Maybe not...
Yeah.
No, I'll say
honestly,
all the Metroidvania games are really good.
All the Game Boy games are really good.
Circle of the Moon was awesome. Really Aria Star was awesome.
Symphony of the Night, for me, is the pinnacle. I know you like 4 a lot.
Well,
but they're...
4 is my favorite of the... 4 is my favorite, but 4 is also my favorite because I love that platforming.
Yeah.
But Symphony of the Night, when it comes to the Metroidvania, that's the best. But Aria Star will be right behind there.
Yeah. All those games are great.
Yeah.
Castlevania definitely deserves to be up here. Something we did not talk about. We just made it on this list. I know you don't have a much history with Metal Gear Solid.
No. I think that deserves to be on there.
Easily one of my favorite franchises.
Just for name alone.
And it's another case of it doesn't overload its franchise with shitty side things.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that one doesn't actually say Solid. It says Metal Gear.
Oh, right. My bad.
So, though it's Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Like, those are the Metal Gear Solid games. I think that's pretty cool that they're all amazing games. 1 is my favorite. I think there's a case that can be made for all 5 being the best of the franchise. I think 5 plays the best, but it has the least story. I think 4 has the most story and is a little too much story, if I'm being honest. 3 is sometimes I say 3 and 1 are like right there. I think 1 sticks with it more, but these games are all fantastic, and if you haven't played any of them, you gotta get to it.
No, I know. New Year's resolution.
All right, that's what I like to hear, Dan. We talked about Mass Effect and how bad Andromeda is. We talked enough about Mass Effect. Probably my favorite trilogy of all time in games. Uncharted we didn't talk about.
Every game on Uncharted is fantastic.
Yep.
Every game.
Not a bad game in there.
There really isn't.
They get better. Like if you went back to play, say you played 2 or 3 or 4, and then you went back to 1, you'd be like,
Yeah, it might be a little...
Yeah, it's a little harder to play. It plays a lot like the Vita game Golden Abyss. It's a little outdated feeling. But yeah, those games, the story in those games, the characters, the graphics, like
Yeah.
those games are really, really excellent.
I recommend, they have the Nathan Drake collection where you can play the
Yeah.
first 3. I'd recommend just get that, play 1, 2, 3, and you can beat through those games, in no time.
Definitely,
and then, and 4 blew me away. I really didn't have high expectations. I was like, it's kind of, why would you do this, kind of thing. Like, if they tried to make it Back to the Future 4 or something like that, I'd be like, come on, like, don't touch it. And 4 was probably my game of the year.
So good, yeah.
What was that, last year? 2016? 2 years ago?
That was
it 16?
Yeah,
It was up there game of the year. That and The Witness. But, like, I was just, man, Uncharted was just...
Yeah.
Those games are just
those games
fantastic.
are incredible.
And
I'm
story-wise,
glad that's on
collectible-wise, they just really deserve...
Yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You want to talk a little bit about Pokemon? I know we said they made the list, but I want you to talk about your favorite.
Favorite Pokemon?
Yeah. Not the actual Pokemon, your favorite game.
Oh, my favorite Pokemon game?
Yeah.
Well,
do you like the old ones? Do you like Red and Blue? Do you like...
I don't know. I feel like they do get better. Honestly, my favorites are... I don't know if this... Because I guess this isn't, like, canon. Like Pokemon Stadium. I know you're not a big fan of it, but, like, it was so cool to see, like, it all 3D.
Right.
But obviously the originals, Blue
It's like Snap,
and
man. Snap was so cool to me.
Exactly.
Such a cool idea for a game. And it's not a great game, but it's a lot of fun. I really like it.
Yeah.
But I
but anything from Blue and
I
Red
grew up on
Sapphire.
I grew up on Red and Blue and Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Those were like our first
classics,
ones.
Yeah.
And
X and Y is good.
I still think those ones you can go back to the easiest because it's kind of a encapsulated thing. It's not like so overblown with all these different Pokemon and stuff like that.
One of the first video game conversations we ever had together.
Yeah.
We were talking about, I think we were talking about X and Y.
Okay.
And we were talking about Fennekin.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, like, the miscommunication we had. We were, like, debating this for, like, an hour. One of his evolsions, where he has, like, the stick.
Yeah.
He's like, and I was just saying, like, oh, yeah, like, he kind of reminds me of, like, Charizard. And you're like, there's no way there's no... And we were just, like, going back and forth for, like, an hour at work, just trying to debate.
I don't remember that at all.
One of our first, that's how this all started.
That's funny, man.
Debate over Fennekin's evolvtion.
That's funny.
But I think Pokemon... I think anybody that's played a Pokemon game has gotten lost and just like enjoyed.
No, I totally agree,
know?
and I love that combat. I love anything turn-based RPG style. I like being able to switch between. Hey, you come back.
Yeah.
Let me get out a water guy to kill
Just
this fire guy.
I love Pokemon. It's just,
I like Pokemon a lot. I'm glad I made this list because it is a really good franchise.
I think it deserves, if anything, whether there's a bad game in there, I think Pokemon deserves to be there just because it's just always been.
You know what I want to do one of these episodes is go through all... Me and my friends have done this before. Go through the starters and decide if grass, water, or fire out of all of them. Like some of them is like, oh, I hate that fucking guy. We're not doing that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we should do that.
We all know water wins, but that's okay.
Let's see. I like that big ass turtle. Which one? Do you know which game he was in? The huge fucking turtle. It's like... he has a big tree on his back. He's a starting grass Pokemon for one of the newer ones.
Oh, no.
You gotta check it out. Dude's dope.
It's a dope dude?
I think we... Listen. Alright, I think we actually covered them all.
Okay.
Except for Zelda and Mario.
And those are the two that we're going to...
So, we'll go through quickly the different games in the series and just, comment on them. Obviously, we had a whole episode ranking Mario games. But what we didn't talk about are the side stories of Mario. So we're talking about Super Mario RPG.
Super Mario RPG is a fantastic game.
Excellent. What is it? Legend of the Seven Stars?
Legend of the Seven Stars, yeah.
Game freaking rules. What is that? What's the cloud dude's name?
Oh,
that guy is one of my favorite characters.
Don't wait a second. Why am I drawing a blank?
But anyway, that guy, the dude is literally a cloud, and his arms extend to punch people.
This sucks.
It's awesome. I love that guy. He has lightning powers. It's fucking sweet. But yeah, Super Mario RPG is a weird ass concept, and I can't believe they made it. It's a square game.
Yeah.
with Mario characters. It's literally like a Final Fantasy game with Mario characters.
Some of those bosses are great. I like the Power Rangers.
Love the art
You know, like
style.
there's like the Power Rangers where there's like 7 different.
Yeah,
like,
I remember those guys.
yeah.
So good.
And Bowser's on your team.
Yep. Oh, that
I
game
can't
rules.
remember the guy's name.
Oh, we're not gonna remember it. What do you?
It was like a tadpole or something like that. It was something to do with like a frog, right? He thought he was a tadpole, right? Or something.
I don't remember. Dan, I'm not gonna remember. I don't know.
Man. I thought the whole price. Okay, anyway.
You gotta let it go, bud.
My OCD won't let me.
But yeah, that game is fantastic. We're also talking about Paper Mario is part
Paper Mario.
We're talking about
Mario
franchises.
Luigi, Superstar Saga.
All these RPGs
We're
are
great.
incredible.
RPGs, yeah,
They're
really,
so
really good games.
So this is where we get into the discussion because not only are we talking about all the great Mario games, we're talking about Odyssey, we're talking about Super Mario World, Super Mario 3,
Of course.
Yoshi's Island, all these amazing Mario games, but we're also talking about Paper Mario, we're also talking about Super Mario RPG, but we're also talking about Mario Party, which is not good.
See, I like Mario Party.
I understand liking it, and I liked it a lot as a kid. They're not good.
No.
They're not good.
But see, I think Mario has more, and you're talking about Mario Kart.
Mario Kart's great.
Mario Kart is great.
Yeah.
But,
See, there's much more in Mario than Zelda.
well, that's the thing. Mario has so many spin-offs. So, I mean, legit. And you have the Luigi games, Luigi's Mansion, if that counts. No?
Not necessarily.
But, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Mario... okay.
Which Sonic and Mario do you like?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Mario Sonic the Olympic Games.
No, that's on the Sonic list. But no,
Mario
really,
has way more games
Yes.
to them than any
But-
franchise.
Zelda has fucking Zelda 1 and Breath of the Wild and Link to the Past
Yeah.
and
Ocarina
Wind
of Time,
Waker and Majora's
Majora's
Mask.
Mask. Link's Awakening is fantastic.
These games
But
are
what
really
about
good.
Spirit Tracks?
You didn't like Spirit Tracks? I like Spirit Tracks.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that game's good.
It's a little silly.
Oh, I like that game. That game is legit.
What about...
It's not like a fantastic game, but it's a good game. There are
I
not.
love Zelda, but I'm just
There
trying
are
to...
not many bad Zelda games.
No,
to
not at
be
all.
honest.
Oh, let's talk about...
I love the Oracle games. Oracle of
Oracle
Ages,
is
Seasons.
okay.
What else? What do you got?
Oracle is okay.
Oh, I like those games.
Yeah.
The one that I didn't care
I
for.
love how when like one of us doesn't like a game that the other loves, we just go, oh, okay, I like that game. Like, it's like...
Man, I love that game.
Trying to think. A lot of the, like the
What's
game...
the Minish Cap is so good.
Minish Cap. Play Four Swords?
Four Swords is there.
That's what I mean. Like, there's just a lot of games.
There is,
Twilight
but
Princess, Skyward Sword.
here's my thing. I think Mario takes it because I don't really like Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess.
Okay.
If I'm being honest.
I don't hate Twilight Princess. I'm gonna
And
be
Zelda
honest.
2 is not great.
I like Zelda 2. It's mad hard.
It's not great.
No, it's not great.
It's not.
But everybody hates Zelda 2. I don't
It's
think it
not
deserves
terrible.
the hate that it gets.
No, it's not terrible. It's not good.
Without it, we wouldn't have the Hyrule like the theme, that cool theme that you get in
That's
Smash
true.
Brothers. Is that cool? Like, you know.
That is a good theme. You're right. No, I think Mario takes it overall.
I think we knew that was coming.
I think Zelda had a shot, dude.
Well, Zelda is great. I mean, well, okay. Let's look at if we look at like the main games in the franchise, the main Mario games. The only really kind of sucky one is Mario Sunshine.
Yeah.
And then you look at the main Zelda games,
There's a few. For me.
but not like
It's also a very personal thing.
But like not bad enough. Like for example, Zelda 2 and Mario Brothers 2. Oh, Mario Brothers 2 is a little bit
Mario
better.
Bros. 2 is better.
Okay, but then
If you compared them like that, Mario's going to win, but I would take a lot of the Zelda games over the Mario games.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
We'll go through it real quick.
Yeah.
NES, I'd take Zelda any day.
Over Mario. I agree. Okay.
Any day.
Same.
Super Nintendo,
Oh, Mario World.
gotta go Mario World.
Mario World would still win. But Link to the Past is still just as... I take them both. Because
Well.
Link to the Past is just as good.
That's not an option here, Dan.
It's so good.
And then you're talking 64.
But then you also got...
You're talking Ocarina and Majora.
And Majora.
You're taking that.
But that's so tough, too.
No, you're taking that over Mario 64.
That's so tough. Yeah.
Then GameCube, not even a contest.
Oh, Wind Waker wins.
Wind
Hands
Waker
down.
wins.
Wii?
Here's the tough thing.
Oh,
though.
Galaxy, bro. Galaxy and Galaxy 2 over...
Now, here's a tough thing that I didn't think about. NES.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about original Super Mario, but we're also talking Mario 2 and 3.
I got 3 on there, too.
Are we taking just fucking Zelda 1 over those 3?
Oh, that's tough.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
So it goes Mario, Zelda. Wii, Mario wins easy. Wii U, there was no Zelda.
It's so tough. Because when you talk about now the Switch, I think Breath of the Wild is a better game than Odyssey.
No doubt about it.
I loved Odyssey, though.
Listen, we had our game of the year. We know which one's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we take Mario overall.
I think Mario wins. I think
Yeah.
for me in the beginning it was always going to be Mario and Zelda. That would always be number one.
Yeah, it's tough to compete against them. They've been around the longest, and they have consistently great games.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I think there's a case to be made for a couple of these others, but not up against.
I think that would be right behind. I'd say Castlevania is a franchise that not a lot of people talk about, but when you look at that like output of games, those games are fantastic.
Yeah.
I think Castlevania will be top 5.
I think Castlevania, Metal Gear. Those are up there.
Yeah. I'd say Uncharted. I mean, Uncharted has been fantastic too.
It is good.
Consistent.
But we're not ranking them, luckily.
Yeah,
So,
which is good.
Mario, best franchise in video game history, followed by Zelda, Metroid, Castlevania, Metal Gear Solid, Mass Effect, Uncharted, Pokemon, Halo, and the Souls series.
Not really in any sort of order.
So that's pretty much it for us, Dan.
Yeah, go Mario.
Glad we finally sorted that out, so no one will ever have to do it again.
Yeah, exactly. Our list is a definitive, only list that matters. Don't listen to anybody else.
Yeah, I guess that wraps it for us.
All right, brother.
So until next time, peace.
Thank you, guys. And Shelby, our man.
Oh, we've got to shout out Shelby again.
Shelby's the man. We wouldn't be anywhere without him. So thank you, Shelby.
What's up, guys? It's Dan from Circle Back. I'm just here to let you know you can find everything that we do at circlebackgaming.com. If you just want the podcast, we're on iTunes. If you just want the video, we're on YouTube. So catch us either place. Thanks.